Hey, welcome back, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in my lab, in the book. I'm about to go off, well, not off, but I'm about to bring you some information that let you, hopefully you'll understand why I don't deal with some of this nonsense, okay? So we about to learn some truths. How about that? The right thinking man is about to put down some good knowledge. Let's rock. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinkers way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to attain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka to know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. You see where we're going with this? So I asked the question, do you know you? You will when I'm through. That's what I'm here to do. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. Let's go. A person who knows not that they know not, they're foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not, it's simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. Whoa. Wow. That's why I do what I do. Excuse me. All right. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and to Maya, be true. Right thinkers, this is what I call exposure from a concept that I try to tell y'all, but it's right here in the book. I didn't make stuff up. I don't come up with these ideas, so this is good information I want to give you. So it's going to be a minute, so get comfortable. There's some good stuff. Right thinkers, let's talk about how some Western, when they say Western, that means white, okay? And Arab scholars distort evidence that's pointing to the older age of our ancient Egyptian culture. They playing us out, so to speak. They, playing the shell game a little bit. Let me see if I can break it down for you. They lying, okay? They got a word here. I had to get the definition order of obfuscation. That means to confuse you, to lead you astray. That's what they do. And my man said the best. Yeah, bamboozle. Okay, they've been playing us. But let's talk about what they did and how they did. Hopefully this is information that you can understand and say, and do some of your own homework. Now, after examining writings of many Western scholars, remember when you hear Western, when you hear West, that's the white man. This one get hands up. So that's a little code word, okay? We try to get you to understand because you know how the algorithm, you call them out, they're going to come right on in. As long as I'll stay away from the nonsense, I can finagle my way and do what I could do. So I can enlighten you. That's my goal. All right, he don't like that. All right, but after examining the writings of many Western scholars, grit my teeth with that, you get the feeling of many Afrocentrics and Afroologists research into Afro culture. Those are the ones who should be doing it, okay, of African descent. And you got some non-African Western scholars, pay attention here, is the traditional Egyptologists. They get credit for being called Egyptologists. Moving on, I ain't gonna give you a story about that one, but Dr. Ben went over to Egypt back in 60. They said, take 20 professors over there and gather information, come back. He came back with the truth. They came back, looted, stolen everything they good, and made up stuff. So rather than believe him, they fired him from the university. Couldn't find out a few years later, he told the truth and they was lying. They bought and gave him his job back. Moving on, another lesson in life. When you know what you know, you don't care how they feel and think about it. The truth plays itself out. Moving on. But they were called Egyptologists, and that was a group comprised of what? mostly, well, it says, no, not mostly, entirely of what? European, white people, or who have been trained by Western scholars. That means the black one who siding with them. We know about them Uncle Toms, okay? Now have over the years sought to bring down the estimated date for the commemoration of the what? Dynastic period of Egypt. Why? In order to show that ancient Egyptian culture emerged after Mesopotamia. I tell you, that white man in love with Mesopotamia, for some reason, he just think they started everything. No, y'all learned how to read their little cuneiform that they made for you. It was simple. It was simpler than the hieroglyphs. Y'all couldn't read our stuff, so y'all get them the credit for being first. Blew it out the water. Oh, they've been around 6,000 years. Okay, we still got them beat. Okay? If they invented the wheel, we don't have a wheel. Why? We hadn't invented it. Now did. Moving on. But the Mesopotamians, and hell, watch this. And they kept that whole thing after Mesopotamian culture. Presumably, watch this, not factual, but presumably this was done. Why? Because Mesopotamia is held by many Western scholars to be their, what? Western culture or their own. They think they're Mesopotamians. So they fall in line with that. The first, I gave the table of chronology of time. The first Mycenaeans, Greeks, they was black. You know that? Nope, I don't think that's it. The classic Greeks came down a lot later. Moving on. I'm just bringing the information. I had that information for you last lesson, so I'm just backing that up, reiterating. Watch this. Now, and because what? They claim Mesopotamian culture as their own. Watch this. Is if not genetic culture, ancestral homeland. They belong to them. Watch this. You, the reader, would understand the context of this issue that goes to the heart of what? Culture relations between Western culture and the Eastern and African culture. You see, they got Eastern and African. Africa is the East. Moving on, stop. Okay. But you got the East and African cultures. All right, they're going to throw Asian and Asia in there too. Now, from the perspective of many people of non-European descent, meaning black people, Western culture has sought to establish its social economic supremacy, aka white supremacy. Call it what it is. My man being real political and diplomatic, I like that, but I'm gonna call it what it is. White supremacy started, and by what? Suppressing and the undermining of the capacity of the indigenous people worldwide to what? To govern themselves and to gain control for their own of their resources. Ain't that what they still doing in Burkina Faso now? They kicked them out. Why? Because they was getting rich. They just made their first gold harvest of their own stuff, $18 billion. And they keep 80%, stays there. When the white man was processing it, they got none of it. Moving on. So this is the thing that's going on right now, okay? The out slicking people playing like they're stupid. My man waking up. But you got Western countries. We go back to that Western again. You know what West means. You got the Western countries in the past. You ready? 500 years they've been doing this to us. In order to what? Where we at? Ancestral rights, as it were, to what? Put them in control of the countries. By God, when God shows all that nonsense. What's this? So therefore, they twisted the evidence. Oh, I hate not having my notes. I got to have that. Okay. They twisted the evidence in order what? To make Western culture appear ancient. Ain't no way in the hell Greek ancient. One second. Where we at? Oh, culture, century, therefore twisted the evidence so they can appear ancient right here. And wise, so they can be the beneficiary of being considered, the teachers, the educators. Wrong. Lies. They are liars. They've been a liar. They always going to be liars. This I showed you my last lesson or two. This is the breakdown. The black, what you see in black, that's all Afrocentric people. Okay, a lot of black on there. Okay, and the black goes far to the right as you could. That go back to 10,000. Don't go no further. Ain't nobody for that, okay? It's all black. The first one after that is the white, and let's see who that was. Oh, that was Kush. They were black, okay? We got the black line, meaning Afrocentric, and we got the star by it, meaning they also African culture. You got the Kush, Meroic, the cultures. You got Mesopotamian culture. They came around about 42 BCE. We started at 10,000. We were doing a whole bunch of stuff before even Mesopotamia came into existence. So how could they start anything? Just saying. The next one, we got that here. We got pre-Islamic, okay, Arab culture. They came around about 3,000. That's about right. We ain't heard from the Greeks yet. Okay, we had 3,000 BCE. Coming from 10, we got the Kushites, we know about them. We got the Naphtha, we know about them. You got the Mesopotamia, we know about them. Okay, now who come next? The Indus Valley culture, we know about them. Also, black, African, pay attention. Then you got the Minoan culture, that's white. You got the Aryan culture, they're black. You got the Mycenaean Greek culture, which came around, you know when? About 1300 BCE. What's this? Then you got the Assyrian culture in white. They came around about 12. They right behind them about 1,000 years at 1200 BCE. And then you got the classic Greeks, okay? The educated Greeks from Egypt. They started in, you ready? 300, ain't that sound? Ain't when Alexander came in to Egypt about 33 BCE. That's when the white man came in. But they were there a long time before that. But they didn't do nothing but let us do what we was doing. That was fine. Watch this. Now, in BCE, from 400, 500 BCE, the white man pretty much started taking control. You got Carthage, you got the Persians, they came in, you got the Mayas, okay? You got the Americans, right there. Americans came into ACE at 0 from the Roman Catholics. Well, where they at? Okay, there you go. I knew they was in this somewhere, the Roman Empire. Now, they came around about, not 100, about 700 BCE. Last one on the totem pole, but they took out the Greeks, who took out the Egyptians, and they returned, took out the Greeks and the Egyptians. And then the Persians came and took them out. Then they came back. It been going back and forth. Then you got African Christians. Y'all came about around 300 BCE, but y'all was also connected with the Roman Christian culture out of Europe around the same time, about 250 BC. Okay, closing it out. Matter of fact, wait a minute. No, excuse me. Roman Christian Catholic culture out of Europe. Y'all came around after the African Gnostic Christians, the original culture, which is around 300 BCE. Y'all came in at 300 ACE. Okay, so Roman Catholics, after y'all did their thing, they came back around again. The Roman, okay, they started in 700 BCE. They took back over around 300. Okay, now they're in control. You got the Hindu culture in India, black orientated. Then you got China, the Taoism culture, and they started around 400 BCE. All these are still BCE. Only difference is the ones that came out in AC. You ready for that? Where we at? We on this side. Who was that? Roman Catholics, Hindus, Taoism. They came around 500. They was in BCE. Okay. If you BCE, you can, I guess, claim ancient. Jury out on that one. All right, but wait a minute. Then you got Buddhism culture started in India around same time, 500 BCE. The Chinese, the Hindu, and the Buddhists, all of them pretty much came around at the same time. The Buddhist culture in India, same time. Then you got the African in India, the Hindus and the Buddhists fighting over India. Then you got on the AC side, you got Islamic culture. The last on the totem pole, 600 ACE. That's perfect. And what happened at 600? I hate that day. You know why? Because y'all closed up all the damn Egyptian temples. So I got a problem with y'all too. personal. Anybody practice that? I got some issues with y'all. My brother, I love you, but I still got issues. All right. But then you got, now, from 500 ACE, they went to a period called the Dark Age. What the hell is the Dark Age? What the, y'all got dumb? Y'all just what? Okay. And then what happened? You got the Middle Age in Europe. That started around 100 BCE. No, 1000. Yeah, 1000 BCE. And guess when the United States got in the game? Y'all ready? About 1500, if that. But it's on the AC side. And then you got modern Europe. They came around about the same time, about 1500. Then you got Ghana in Africa, another one. But they was here before y'all. They started at 500 ACE. And you got the Mali Empire. They started at 1000 ACE. So they kind of current. Mansa Musa, richest man in the world. Then you got the Songhai Empire, which came around again about 1200 AC. So all of these in the U.S. is the littlest one, the last one. So spare me with all that nonsense, and y'all consider Western civilization, and y'all take credit for everything that y'all put down because y'all, I ain't going there. Let me get back to the lesson. Let's see, I try to make that information clear to you, to get that point across. And what they did to make the Western culture appear ancient, wise, and beneficial, etc., which necessitates a denial that there is any civilization that is older than Western culture. That's a lie. Moving on. That's a lie. But they still perpetrating it. They ain't stopped telling the same lie. 2,000 years, they still perpetrating the same lie, which is being subjugated or a common ancestry with what? With the rest of humanity. Y'all know the black man's the original man. And you got example of what? This twisting and fabricating of history by who? Western scholars. There we go again. The Western scholars is the well-known and documented deliberate misinterpretation of what? Here we go. I'm about to have my way with y'all biblical people. Let's go with the biblical story of Noah, first of all. How the hell one man can give birth to 3 different nationalities? That we ain't even scratched the surface on that, but that's just one. All his kids is different races. Wait a minute. No, I'm just saying. Western culture, so Noah, so as to make it appear, what? That the Bible advocated and condones the enslavement of the children, descendants of who? Ham. Because y'all said that his father Noah cursed him. Not him, but his grandkids, all that again, excuse me. Ham, all Hamites, the people of African descent. If they 3 brothers, shouldn't they all be of African descent? Now, by the children and descendants of Japheth. Japheth German? What the hell? What the hell is that? European descent? Come on, really? So he gave birth to 3 different brothers, 3 different races. Well, I don't want that sperm. He got super sperm. That makes no sense. But y'all said it happened. No, it's a myth. It's an allegory. I know that. But y'all swear it happened. You can't make an allegory, a myth, literal. That's what the Romans got it wrong at. And that book that y'all read, y'all got it wrong. Moving on. That's why I don't mess with it. Trust me. Now, along with the natural stubbornness and idiotic concept of what? Of the ordinary human beings to what? Accept and be ready to change to the truth due to their what? Identification with what? Prestige. They want to be recognized, and of their culture and heritage and their ignorance as a source of what? Self-worth. Instead of telling the truth and virtue, 2 methods of discrediting the early achievements of our ancient Egyptians have been used. We're about to go over one of them. It's a lot of fluff. I'm going to get through the fluff and get to the good stuff. You know how I do. So I'm going to give you how it started out. Now, along with the natural stubbornness with them, okay, no, been used right here now. The desire for Western culture to envision their own history as the civilized culture stretching back into antiquity, considering themselves ancient. Well, what's ancient? A long ass time. 10,000 years is a long ass time. having realized that the Greek culture is too late in history to even consider establishing this claim and not wanting to even acknowledge that ancient Greece essentially owes its civilization to our ancient Egyptians. Stop right there, and I can vouch for that. I went to University of Tampa back in 1975. I majored in Greek mythology. I had a Professor Harder, the smartest professor, the smartest guy. He was the man, and he took a liking to me. Anybody seen Animal House? That professor, when he take the college kids to his house and they sit around getting high and philosophizing, I was one of them with him. It's 50 years, so I guess it's statute of limitations. But yeah, I was the cool kid from North who could think quick and had sharp wit. So he liked me, and I caught on to everything he taught me. I was a Mr. Thinker. How about this? Right thinking. I'm always a thinker because of them. And I always say, I got no problem. When I went to Egypt and started studying, it's like I knew all of it. Why? I did from the Greeks. They never, and this one gets me, I got goosebumps. I was so pissed. Why? Because they never said they went to Egypt. They never told me nothing about that. I took everything they gave me as if it was them. I didn't know nobody else. Okay, so when I went to Egypt, man, I freaked out. And that's what I'm still telling you. Man, I know all this. Why? The Greeks told me. They didn't tell me they got it from y'all. That's what I got to give this. Let me wrap this up. I again appreciate that. I'm going to close it out and start another lesson for you. But I got some good stuff. We're about to get into the biblical faux pas. No, obfuscation. Ossification. All right, let me wrap this up for you. Now, they acknowledged, and the Greeks had to, but it wasn't until later and way after 75, okay? And they owe its civilization to our ancient Egyptians. And they have to promote a process of downplaying the importance of the ancient Egyptian in history. Why? By means of reducing the chronology in which history took place. They rearranged the dates to what substantiate. It still don't work. Why? I'm about to show you, okay? How could this obfuscation occur and do this to obscure the records? How could this problem occur? Now, the definition for obfuscation, I checked it out, that means to confuse, to, not be clear. Lying. That's what I look at. Come on, man. That's what I made it real clear. If you confusing me, if you holding back but not doing something, you're lying. Just tell me the truth. Simple. All right? So let me wrap this up with, now, in addition to the resistance to tell the truth by the Western scholars and to accept the right information, which they fear will happen, will change the prestige of their culture and the heritage in with which they identify as a source of their self-wealth. That that's their right. Instead of defining themselves to be the standard of truth and virtue. No, that ain't them. That's us. That's my yacht. But other methods of what? Again, trying to discredit the early achievements of ancient Egypt have been used. I'm going to give you one more example. You got two ways of invalidating our ancient Egyptian history, and they are prominent. One is the misunderstanding, or two, supporting erroneous theories. Knowing it's wrong and still promoting it. Y'all know I'm about to get into the steps. I'm going to cut this lesson, and I'll be right back in a second. But I got to say, right thinkers, may y'all live to be 100, me 100 miles a day. So I never know that my right thinkers who about to find out some truths about our ancient Egyptians that passed away. You know how I do.